G'day mateys and welcome back to the Down Under Gamer channel. It is the Down Under Gamer here and we are back with episode 11 of our DEI 1.2.3e Rise of Rome, a Let's Play campaign for Rome 2 Total War. Obviously, for those of you unfamiliar, DEI obviously stands for Divide et Impera. So for those of you that are new and for those of you that have been following, obviously in the last episode, our brand new legion under the commands or Legio 2 Aderix, which we restored under the command of Servius Macula, obviously pushed in, in a surprise attack. We attacked Genoa, overwhelmed the garrison here, and took control of the settlement. We're now going through destroying all their barbarian buildings so that we can start building our own Latin buildings and begin this spread of sort of Latin and the Italic cultures, which obviously is already spreading through our garrison here in Patavium, or our settlement of Patavium. So now we have our main army under our faction leader Primus Inter Pares, a 5-star general. We are looking at the glory of Epona, another 5-star general, their king, I believe. So this is his main army. He's got a lot of these, phalanx spearmen, swordsmen, more short sword warriors, spearmen, a little bit of cavalry in there, a few skirmishers. So we are going to engage them. We are going to have a battle. Now, obviously, if we are successful in this battle, which I'm fairly confident we will be, then obviously that then leaves us 2 armies in a pincer movement to move on Medlan to finish securing Cisalpina, which will give us control of another region or another province. So that said, guys, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button, drop this video a like, and leave your thoughts, tips, tricks, all that sort of good stuff down in the comment section below. Now let's have ourselves a battle. So it's saying that obviously it's already in our favour, but hey, let's fight the battle anyway. We're outnumbered. Who knows? Who knows? They might pull something out here. Unlikely, but it is what it is. So hopefully this doesn't take too long to load up. I was actually just recording another episode of our This is Sparta Let's Play campaign for Imperium Universalis just before this. So those of you that are following the channel for our EU4 Let's Play campaigns, along with this episode of DEI, that should be up hopefully by the end of this day, should be live and active. Obviously I'll post the respective links and the appropriate threads and whatnot on the various forums for those links, obviously when it's when they're live. So but battlefield so far, obviously a little bit of forested land, looks like some slopes and possible little mountainous terrain. We've attacked them, so I don't know whether they are going to try and position themselves in a defensive position, or whether they will throw themselves at us. Either or, I'm pretty confident that they will die nonetheless. So no one is free who does not lord over himself. Okay, That's an interesting one. I'm not really sure what that means, but look, that is very true. Killing a general early will deliver a heavy blow to the enemy army's morale. And I suppose at this time, if you actually follow, history a fair bit, and you kind of look at a lot of what happened, a lot of battles were purely just lost because the enemy general had died, and as soon as the troops found out that the general was dead, they basically went, oh shit, like what are we doing this for? Like, this dude's dead now. And then they kind of just went, let's go home. And so a lot of the armies kind of routed after finding out that the general had died. So it is what it is. But there we go. We've got some Gamil Ligurier mercenari, or heavy spear infantry. Obviously, we've got some skirmishers. Villot Alpines mercenari, and these guys have clearly been working out with Thor and Captain America as well down at Gold's Gym. It's a bit of a common occurrence. This guy, I'm not sure where he's from. He can't be Gaulish. He's got very skinny legs, and he looks a bit shorter than the other guys too, doesn't he? Anyway, maybe he's an infiltrator. He's just trying to fit in. I don't know. These guys got their cavalry. So the Insubres, Gaserepos, the Apatha Scamos. What's this guy doing? He looks like he's almost Slavic or something. He's Russian. He got lost, and he ended up in Gaul somehow, and he's angry. So he's now fighting the Romans. These guys look pretty cool. The Culturos Alancia. What are these guys? Curio Claudio. I believe, and I could be wrong, I think the iron rings around the neck there means basically that they're sworn to a particular warlord. I believe that's what that means. I'm not entirely sure, so I think that's somewhat accurate. Gabranos Botroas. These guys hiding back here. Yeah, so these are the heavy phalanx, so these are the guys that are definitely going to pack the punch. The Epirotes. And obviously I'm butchering those names, guys, so don't hold that against me. So obviously we're spread pretty wide, so I might keep that formation in general. So we'll see what happens. Let's stand and wait, and they're not really looking like they're in a big rush to sort of attack. But obviously, as we have done successfully in multiple battles now, let's move the Principe up. Spread them out. So we will send the spearmen up onto this flank, because that's obviously where their cavalry is positioned, and we will get these guys to move up on this flank here with the Principe, and cavalry can do what they do, and they can sit back a little bit, look pretty, and look for an opportunity to flank around, tackle skirmishes, all that sort of good stuff. So and obviously it looks like they're kind of content to just sort of sit here, let us come to them, which is fine. So there is our Principe. They're pretty much in formation now. Oh no, they're moving. Get these guys over here. So naturally they have a full stack army, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, so they got about 9 hidden units here somewhere. I would dare say in those trees.
Sons of Mars.
So obviously guys, if you're not too sure about formations, there are some preset formations here. So cavalry front triple line, missile front triple line, etc, etc, etc. Or obviously you just make your own custom formation.
Group ready and awaiting orders. General. Understood.
Now, obviously, with the Romans, when I attack, I like to be spread out in a nice long line, especially if they're bunched up sort of tight like that. That way, it gives me the ability to sort of flank and engage and outmaneuver and all that sort of stuff. However, if I'm on the defensive, I do like to use the triple ACS purely because it's a really great defensive formation.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
One of our units has used all of its ammunition. That's wonderful. And obviously there is the rest of their army appearing, as expected. So first of all, we will ungroup. We'll get our cavalry, we'll move them on the flank here. Okay, that'll be fine. Let's get these guys down here. Alright, so as we can see, we now have an overlap. This is where we go to work. So we've got a lot of pressure here in the center. Once this cavalry is dealt with, then these guys will start flanking around. So we've got the general moving up now. So we'll smash these guys to them, wipe them out. Once these guys have overrun them, which shouldn't take too long, I would imagine, given that they are just skirmishers and these are pretty much all heavy infantry, these guys are going to swing over here. That was going to be my plan. These guys are going to fly up over here and they're going to start smashing this big pocket that's putting pressure on us in the center here. So their cavalry's trying to come in behind. That's good. That's smart on their behalf. Not good on my behalf because I'm not paying attention, but that's okay. Actually, let's get these guys. Let's move them over. Let's get their cavalry. Chase that cavalry down. So here we go. Obviously, let's get these guys over here. So let's have a look. How are our guys holding? Yeah, our guys are holding. We're barely taking any losses here. Just too elite, too professional. These guys are already starting to break. The missile cavalry is running. So that's one of their heavy phalanxes, so this guy can come in and hit them. So that's their missile cavs, run straight into our infantry coming in the rear there. So this guy can come in, hit the Couturiers Lancia from the rear. Alright, so obviously our guys are starting to take a few losses now. So let's get these guys in here. Actually, these are our heavy hoplite units. So we'll get them to target the enemy general.
Principes! For glory! Spearmen ready for orders. Attack their position! Orders. Charge! Ready and waiting. We charge! By your command. Forward!
So this flank is now getting overrun. Let's get a cavalry around, try and do some hammer and anvils from the rear, or at least clear these guys up so that we can free up that infantry to come in and start doing what they're supposed to do. So these guys, bad shape, let's get them out of there. Don't want to lose them. Yeah, so they've broken, good. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of guys over here on this flank, which we can now pull around and start doing exactly what these other guys in the center are doing. So
Principes! Sons of Mars! Spear infantry ready! Sons of Mars! General!
So what can this guy do? We can inspire.
Glory! To serve Rome! Jupiter gives us strength! Principes! And the relay! Romans ready for duty! Commander, hail! General!
So this army has posed a little bit of a threat to us, but that's okay. It's probably because of all their heavy phalanx units, which is good. It'd certainly be good to see these the barbarian factions sort of field more units like that. Certainly make it a bit more challenging when opposing them. Let's bring these guys in, hit these guys from the rear. So they've broken, they've run, that's beautiful. Get these guys to come in, do what they were intended to do.
Fire on the enemy! Command up! Fire on the enemy! Jupiter gives us strength. Yours to command! Principes! Our horses love blood! All road! Advance at speed! And honor! General! Riders at the double!
Alright, so who's not actively doing anything?
Engage! Forward! Romans ready for duty. Principes! Break and burn! Principes! Forward! Men of Italia!
Alright, so all of our guys are actively engaged now. Where's our cavalry? What are they doing? Let's pull them back down here. We should have, we've got a couple of exposed rear flanks there. So we'll get our cavalry back down here, get them around behind into here. I mean, we've got this battle in the bag. It is what it is. Go in there, hit them in the rear. Where's this other one? Here, yeah, getting them in the rear. Engage. So they're routing, they're no longer a problem. Alright, so they're shattered. Use our cavalry to charge them down. Get these guys in there. Get these guys in here. 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 Oh, we've got some skirmishers coming back. That's okay. That's beautiful. More men to kill. These guys, look at them. They're very tired, they're shattered, they're demoralized, and they're about to get smashed by cavalry. Same as these guys here.
Proud Romans all! Advance!
So who's not fighting? Where are they? And that's it. They certainly bloodied us, but that's okay. We still carried a day. We were also outnumbered by about 400 or 500 men, I think it was. So not too bad. So obviously losses were 400 men. Their losses were 2,000 though, considerably higher than ours. So we killed 1994, so there's a difference of 10 men there. So I don't know, I guess 10 men got crushed by their allies while they were trying to run. But as you can see, out of all their units, the ones that obviously did the most work were those heavy phalanx units, which is kind of what I expected. But again, obviously, Principe doing the heavy lifting. These guys here, you know, 177, 154, 122, 106, 142 respectively. You know, nearly 100 for these guys. So average about 100 kills, and the cavalry, as always, showing their worth. So but now their main army is dead. Hopefully we'll kill that king. We might be able to pull this army back towards Rome to get her reinforced, because she is a bit mauled and a bit bloodied. It is what it is. Or at least pull it back to a region where there's you know, a few more men available. Sometimes I've seen a lot of guys, because that was actually quite an interesting one, about selecting skirmish mode for me personally. If you're playing with factions, you know, obviously Rome's are just the Romans are the Romans. As you guys can see, my army build, I know a lot of you guys don't agree with it, you know, because it's all just heavy troops, mostly anyway. You know, but for me, I mean, like, they haven't lost a battle yet. They literally are a steamroller. It is what it is. But if you are playing where you have a bit more of a diverse roster, where you've got skirmishes and whatnot, especially if you are against an army, say for example like the Romans that use javelins and all that sort of stuff, then sometimes cheap skirmishes in the front line not only serve to pepper and try and disrupt the enemy formations, but they can also be great meat shields to absorb enemy missiles before you engage with your main force. At least that's my take on it. I know sometimes people like to bring like cheap units of spearmen and stuff like that. Personally, I'd rather use that slot to you know, fill it with a unit that I know is going to do some like serious damage, rather than just wasting that. I'd rather use like some missile unit, like a javelin unit or something like that, and use those as the meat shield to absorb you know, that missile damage from the enemy. That's my personal preference. You know, obviously we're all different, so all right. So I only captured 16 enemies. We killed everybody else. However, I get a bit of money from that.
Your next command.
So he's now a rank 6 general. That is not too shabby at all, is it?
Ready for orders.
So he's not reinforcing there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull him back. That army's shattered. I don't think it's going to do much.
Ready for further.
It's not doing much, and it's not really reinforcing down here either, is it? It is what it is. So our general details, we can't increase our replenishment anymore. What does this one do? Let's do that one. That gives us less upkeep. What is this one? 4% research weight. Yeah, let's get that. Better empire maintenance, more research rate. Why not? Cool. Alright, so this guy, nah, he can't do anything else. And this one, so let's end the turn. Warning, character has service macula. So our general here, he obviously must have got some skills. Okay, cool. So what can he can add something to his household. +1 food, local province. Oh, that's pretty good. What is this one? Yeah, definitely that one. Extra barley rations, for sure. So obviously we will go with the logistican. Let's be honest, logistics were +5% replenishment rate for all units. That's pretty good. Let's go with that. Why not? Logistics were super important. That's one of the big reasons why the Romans were so successful, is because their logistics were the shit. They were just good at it, and they excelled at it, and they were better at it than anybody else. Obviously, I think I mentioned this maybe in a previous episode. After the Marian reforms, originally they had huge baggage train and all that, and I think it was war against the boy, where the boy actually smashed them and came down and crushed their baggage train, and then I think it was like a legion or something. They had to retreat all the way back to Rome, and most of them got wiped out on the way because they just simply didn't have any supplies. I could be wrong there. I could just be talking shit like a typical Aussie, but it is what it is. And then obviously they did the Marian reforms, where each legion was actually had to carry like a week, I think it was a week or 2 weeks of worth of rations and supplies, and then because obviously you had your cohorts, and then your sentries and all that sort of stuff, and sort of each man was responsible for carrying certain parts of equipment. Certain parts of the field fortifications, because obviously the Romans made like a fully fortified field camp every night, and then basically as the Empire of the Republic expanded, they set up various sort of way stations and garrisons, and each one was approximately 1 week's march from each other. Oh. So what have we got here? Italian town guard, Italian swordsman. Alright. I don't think I can stop that. So we will auto-resolve it. Go with a balanced stance. That way we'll bloody them, and then we will just bring our general back. And yeah, so we bloodied them pretty well. Are they actually going to take the settlement? No, they're not. What? How stupid are they? And there's another army. Ooh, another full stack army. This is turning into an interesting little war. These guys are certainly proving to be an interesting opponent. Rebellion in Genoa, yes, I saw that one. Sacked the settlement, okay. Political intrigue, a new political intrigue has developed. plebeian military reforms, the wars of the past decades, and our continual bouts with Italian forces have somehow proven fruitful as the influence of Roma grows beyond its humble Italian origins. Our consuls have perfected manipulative tactics, and old hoplite phalanx replaced by 3 lines of maniples, obviously the triple axius, sorted by age and experience instead of class and wealth. The young hastati backed up by older, more heavily armed principi, followed by the veteran triari in reserve. Our military has also adopted some of the armaments and armour of our enemies. The utility proven by the mercenaries of Poenian warriors of the Celtae. Our soldiers now carry Pila and Hastati and Principe both have replaced their Haste with the deadly short cord we call the Gladius. The older Triarii are reluctant to change, still fight as the hoplite phalanx. Kense and Leve are no longer used, while Velites become the chosen skirmisher unit. New reforms usually open up new equipment and new ways of combat, not necessarily stronger overall, but usually more efficient for the time and for challenges presented ahead. Some reforms can require a period of adaptation to the new tactics. Study well and differences in your troops, because this can mean the difference between victory and defeat. So first and foremost, let's crush this little rebellion. He's running. He's running what? Come on. I haven't even touched it yet, mate.
Your next command.
Rank up our legion there. That's good. We'll go with this one, and we'll go with that one.
Commander.
And we can upgrade our units. This is exciting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're looking pretty badass, I reckon.
Get to it, men.
Oh, what did we do that for?
Blowing a port.
And look at him on his nice white shiny horse, hey?
Ready for battle.
Now these guys are going to cost a fortune to upgrade. Oh wow, it even upgrades all these guys. That's pretty cool. So the Triarii, awesome. Oh, that's cool. So there we go. Let's get badass.
Set up the watch. Ready for orders.
Come get some, boys. Alright, so let's upgrade this settlement here. These guys. Bastards. So, what do we want to do here? So let's build some food, and let's build a field of Mars. Oh yeah, and we've still got our legion down here in the south, don't we? We do. But that's okay, we won't upgrade them yet, because we don't really have the money to do it.
Come. Let me hear your talk. I won't.
I give you greeting and my attention for the next few minutes. We are not known as patient people. Greetings. Well, do not stand there mute as though...
Alright, so that's pretty cool. We have our Marian reforms have just fired. Yeah, nice one. Nice one indeed. Oh, that's right. We've got this guy here. Let's pull him up here and have a look, scout out this this settlement. What sort of garrison has that got? Warriors, townsfolk, tribesmen, bowmen. Okay, end the turn. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, see if these Insubrian armies either stay or retreat. If they retreat once that legion is reinforced along with the other one, then we are both going to converge for one hell of a battle and possible and hopefully a siege. Still haven't managed to do a siege yet. So hopefully we will converge on a Medlem for a siege. Now, interestingly enough, obviously looking at Syracuse there, I read somewhere that it was rumored that the reason the Romans and the Carthaginians wanted Syracuse is because there's a massive, or at the time, there was a massive inland salt mine near Syracuse, and back then salt was a spice, and obviously they hadn't opened up the spice trade. Oh. Well, what do we got? Oh, I love it. What sort of a garrison force? Not much, but that's okay. We are going to have to fight this. So I do apologise in advance, guys. This episode is going to go for quite some time. It's going to be a long episode, this one. So anyway, as I was saying, there was allegedly there was a massive salt mine near Syracuse, and it was very expensive and very valuable because it's obviously a spice. And they hadn't really opened up and exploited the eastern spice trade and all that sort of good stuff at the time, and because the modern day word for salary actually comes from the old Latin word which saltry, which basically means salt, and so it's believed that that's part of the reason why the Romans and the Carthaginians got embroiled in the war over sort of Syracuse and whatnot, is because obviously they wanted to control the spice trade of Syracuse. So it was more a financial thing than we don't like you because you're different to us kind of thing. So I found that story interesting. I don't know how much relevance or whether there's actual a lot of how do we say what's the word I'm looking for? How much uh, evidence there is to back that up, but still I thought that was pretty cool when I read that. Kind of makes sense. Obviously a lot of wars were fought for land and resources and money, especially back in this particular era. So, but we have Artios Claws, the Spearmen, and the remnants of the Glory of Epona against Legio 1 Apollinaris and our first garrison army. So, obviously depending on the disposition of their forces. Alright, so first and foremost, so obviously we've got like a massive army here. Oh, I have deployables. Brimstone pits, stakes, suitors caltrops, spike traps. Okay, so first and foremost, let's have a look at the army.
Sons of Mars.
So we want to have a look. So these are our new Principes, and they look pretty good. These guys look like, you know, maybe a little bit better fed. Legs don't look to be as skinny, so maybe they're doing a bit more work at leg day. So they look pretty cool. They look pretty badass. What else have we got? So what are these? Our Samniti Principe. So they look pretty cool as well. Hastati. These guys, still skinny legs. Our Samnium Hastati, or these young guys, but then I suppose the Hastati were the young guys. So, you know, hey, look, I'm sure as they get older they'll fill out a bit more. Where are our Hastati?
At your service.
So they're looking pretty cool. Our Triarii, obviously, we've got to check them out. The old dudes, the veterans. And they look pretty mean. I certainly probably wouldn't want to fight them, I guess. Where are we? Our Equites. So they look pretty cool. Alright, so let's have a look. Where is their army deployed? Their army's deployed here. I'd like to engage them in the open field, to be honest.
Romans ready for duty. Principes. Melee infantry ready.
So I might deploy some men here. And how else are they going to come into the settlement? So they're going to come down through here, aren't they? Then I might deploy another force of Principes here, so that we can come out around and flank these guys, all our sort of auxiliary kind of guys, and spearmen. I'd probably leave in the town centre. No, I'll put them here, and they can come back to support the town centre if they need be. So these guys, our cavalry, where can they go? they can just kind of stay there, I guess. All these guys here can stay in the town centre along with these three guys. These guys aren't far away, so obviously they can support. But let's get this battle underway. I've been talking shit too long.
Your orders.
Damn Aussies, I know.
What a pity that their wits are so completely lacking. If they had any understanding.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
Alright, so we have enemies coming in from the rear. That is the main force though, so this is what we need to concentrate on, is these guys here. So let's move these guys up.
General! Romans ready for duty! Quickly now!
So we've got enemies appearing from over here. Okay, so let's get these guys.
The men are wavering.
The men are wavering. Oh shit.
At the double! Into hollow square formation! Principes! Happy to serve Rome! Melee infantry at your command! As he am!
Our men flee the field of battle.
It's not particularly a great start, is it?
Principes! Infantry! Sons of square formation! Melee infantry! Principes! Into hollow... Jupiter gives us strength! Riders, advance!
Get the general up there, so he's nice and close.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Honor and glory!
Our general is under attack.
That's okay.
For the gods!
The general back.
Melee troops awaiting orders! Hack forward!
Engage
One of our
him.
units has used all its ammunition.
Principes! Charge! Ready! For glory! Melee infantry ready! Principes! We await your command! Melee infantry ready! Proud Romans all! Charge! Italian swordsmen! For Rome! Ready for orders! Six dominate!
Our men flee the field of battle.
I've got more men fleeing. Ah, bloody hell. Come on, guys. What are we doing here?
General!
Alright, so they're done. That's good. Let's get behind these guys. Sort this shit out.
General!
No, get the general back.
Romans ready for duty!
Engage.
Sons of Mars!
Engage.
Principes!
Engage.
We await your command! Right
Engage.
ready! Orders! For glory! Italian swordsmen! For glory!
Alright, so that cavalry is running. That's not a good thing. Let's get these guys back. So that's heavy spearmen. So our general's not going to last very long against that. So let's get him down here so he can inspire. So all these guys. So you go there, deal with that.
For glory! General! Forward!
So where have these guys gone? Okay, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. He can stay there. These guys will engage. He's going to come in and hit from behind and the side. Beautiful, love it. So those guys are still holding. Formations breached, yeah, so we should be able to hold there, no problems.
Melee infantry at your command! Brave Romans to a man! Ready! Let's engage!
Flying wedge, let's go. Oh, what? That's awesome.
Brave Romans to a man! General! Before glory!
Take them out of flying wedge. Oh, and our mercenary cavalry routed. Bastards. Get those guys up there.
Melee troops Awaiting orders. Advance! By your command! Hold there for glory! Soki! Forward! General! Engage!
This is what's called sacrificing the leader, also known as doing dumb shit.
Principes!
What is that? Testudo. Disciplined formation, of course.
To engage! Your orders! Forward! Principes! Charge! Principes! To our forward! Your orders! Charge! General! Strength and honor! Ready and waiting! Proud Romans all! Quickly now! But advance at speed! Understood! Your orders! General!
Whew. Almost had me concerned there for a little bit, that one. But that's okay. We came out on top. Like I knew we would.
Principes! Attack! For Rome!
Their general's broken, yeah.
General!
They're done. What do we got here? Okay, let's go and engage them.
Principes! Advance! Brave Romans to a man! Quick, engage! Hastati! Engage!
Almost. Tricky, very tricky indeed.
Your orders? Engage! Ready and waiting! Forward!
Where's that last unit? Let's go and kill them.
Missile infantry ready.
They are done. Wow, guys, that was a nail biter. But hopefully that is the majority of their army destroyed now. Batavium is secure. Our god general has proved his worth again. Wow, the enemy's broken. Death and dishonor are theirs today, but only by a single sword stroke. Indeed, yeah, that was very, very close battle. My mistake, obviously, was I only sent a bunch of units up, 5 men, to try and hold back their entire main force. That was foolish. I probably should have just had them all there and then sent a smaller flanking force around behind them. It is what it is. I was trying to be a little bit too ambitious. But then perhaps maybe if I already, had them in position and put them in defensive square formations, I probably could have held there while the bulk of that sort of flanking force got around. It is what it is. But lost 700 men. We did kill 1,700 though, so you know what, that's not too bad of a trade-off. So this legion is definitely going to have to come back and spend a little bit of time reinforcing, but that is okay. But looking at that, you know, most of our Principe, I suppose, did some heavy lifting. Those initial 5, though, they certainly did not, because they clearly just got overwhelmed. But it was actually our lesser units this time, our Soci units and whatnot, they came up and actually sort of carried the day a little bit. So it's good to see them getting in there with the best. So the valiant profit more their country than the finest, cleverest speakers. So obviously, guys, once we load out, of course, if it gives us the option to enslave, we will enslave them, and then we will end this episode. It's probably gone on way too long. But it is what it is. The enemy likes to attack, which is good. You know, it's good to see that the enemy is being aggressive and sort of counter-attacking and all that sort of good stuff. And they've definitely mauled and bloodied this army, which is definitely going to have to pull back and reinforce. So. So we actually lost one of our units, but most of our guys have leveled up. Most of our garrison got wiped out again, but that's okay. That was kind of happened already. So that army almost got annihilated. The glory of Epona is almost done. So enslave them, of course. Alright, so research complete. Increase in rank our governor. So it expands an executioner. It's a year in history. Olympic victor. The Roman denarius coin is minted for the first time. The Romans found a colony at Maleventum, which they, for superstitious reasons, call Beneventum, since male means bad and bene means good in Latin. Greece, and Athenian statesman in general, issues the decree of Cremonides, creating alliance between Sparta, Athens, and Ptolemy II of Egypt. The origin of this alliance lay in the continuing desire of many Greek states, notably Athens and Sparta, for a restoration of their former independence, along with the desire of Ptolemy II to create the troubles for his rival Antigonus II, king of Macedonia. Ptolemy II's ambition in the region are threatened by Antigonus Gonada's fleet, so he carefully builds up a coalition against Macedonia. In Greece, he especially cultivates Athens by supplying the city with grain. Ashoka becomes emperor of the Amorian Empire. Okay, so a quick one. Let us have a look. Mercenary Auxiliary, no, we don't want that. What does this one do? Minus 3% off fleet, no. What does this one do? Plus 1 up all armies, morale for melee infantry. What does this one do? Weaponsmith, armourer, economy. What do you do? Supply warehouse, grain silos, irrigation ditches. What does this one do? 3% tariff from trade agreements. That's 16 turns there. The recruitment of rank 1 dignitaries, libraries, which should give you research bonus, aqueduct, stadium, gladiator school. Okay, let's do that. Let's level this guy up.
Ever in service to Rome.
Bureaucrat. Sure. Plus 15% tax rate, that's pretty good. Alright, so let's have a look at this legion here.
We hunger for battle.
He is reinforcing, that is good. So I might recruit another cavalry unit for him. I think that's going to be invaluable, more cavalry. So that said, guys, wow, what an episode of the Insubre. Tough SOBs. We've got a rebellion to defeat, we've got the remnants of their army to defeat, we've got a city to siege. The Nori look like they're massing on our border and getting restless again, so this could be very, 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 very interesting for us indeed. So that said, guys, obviously, if you like this episode, smash that subscribe button, drop this video a like, leave your thoughts, tips, tricks, all that good stuff down in the comment section below. This is the Down Under Gamer signing off. Mate, I need to go and wipe like a ton of sweat off my forehead and my brow. What a crazy battle that was. Anyway, DEI team, guys, awesome, awesome, awesome. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. Have an awesome day.